Good evening to all of our audience today, and welcome to the We Talk Wonka Europe stage for candidates to the Wonka World Members at Large and President-elect positions. It is a tradition that we started 2 years ago in the last Wonka World elections, and we are giving the stage to all the candidates from all the regions and continents to present themselves before our members in Wonka Europe. Yesterday, our President-elect, Thomas Frez, and he is also with us today, moderated the We Talk with the 5 member-at-large candidates from all over the world. We had yesterday candidates from Australia, from Europe, from Pakistan, and also from China, and I'm sure that this evening will be interesting as the same. Today, we are here with Professor Mehmet Ungan, one of the candidates for the position of President-elect of Wonka World. This is the time to say that we invited to the We Talk webinar both Mehmet and Vivian, the other candidate, and got a positive answer only from Professor Ungan. Professor Ungan is a full professor in family medicine and was the founder and president of the Turkish Association of Family Doctors. He was also the president of the EGPRN, the European General Practitioners Research Network, and the president of Wonka Europe. Professor Ungan, the stage is yours, and I will start with the first question to you. We know you, but can you tell us about yourselves for those who are not knowing well you? Professor Ungan, please.
Thank you very much, Shlomo, and thanks to all executive board and to Turkish Association and all associations who are really encouraging me to be a candidate today. Together with you, it will be an honor for me to be here. Now, what is interesting for me is, I think I've never thought about when we were developing together with you this WeChat issue. I didn't expect myself to be a guest. You know, this is life. This is very interesting to be in this side of the WeChat. Actually, I am a practicing family physician in Turkey. For those who doesn't know me, and I work in the practice and as an active physician and also a professor at the Family Medicine Department of Ankara University. I am living in Ankara and in Istanbul, both. I have been the founder of practices in both cities, and I have a great team, and you know some of them. For my family, my daughter is a lawyer living in New York. Today, her birthday, and my son is 50 years medical student. My wife is a family doctor also. I was one of those 7 founders of Turkish Association and worked in executive boards of the research network of Wonka Europe, EGPRN, and then Wonka Europe Executive Board, where I had the privilege of experiencing also in president positions as an executive board member of Wonka. Just about the training, I had a postgraduate training in general practice family medicine in the University of Exeter Postgraduate Medical School, UK, in 1993. And had mentors who helped us later to develop trainers course in Turkey more than 30 years ago. I worked in a short time in Germany, later trained on education and research in family medicine, and also had a clinical course including migrant health from the CDC of the United States. I have been a member of the Society of Teachers of Family Medicine, the United States in 1995. A recognition certificate is on my wall as a historical moment for me. I've been publishing for many years in family medicine. I have also an experience in coordinating international funded scientific projects like International Atomic Agency Energy and MedCampus of the Europe and Horizon of Europe. And some of you may know me from some courses like the one I pioneered to create as an offline free of charge course running on the web for the Europe, and it still continues in Wonka network web with great attendance numbers. That's all, Shlomo, for now.
So I can tell you, thank you, Mehmet. I can tell you that I know you for many years, and even I learned some new things about your past activities. So it's also interesting for me. So now let's move to another question. Why you are standing for this position of president-elect?
Yeah, that is a question that I have asked to the candidates for the member at large yesterday, and Thomas kindly forwarded that question, and they have answered excellent. And I didn't expect it to come to me, but I can say some words about it. I have had a dream since I started my journey in family medicine specialty program. Almost 35 years ago, I acted as a leader both in the country and also in international organizations. And my steps were usually based on producing and sharing a product. That requires collective work. It is simply about volunteering. It is evident that volunteering in organizations like WONCA plays a crucial role in improving primary health care and family medicine worldwide. The dedication of volunteers, even without financial benefits, stems from a shared commitment to advancing patient-centered care. My motivation to volunteer is rooted in my dream and belief that collective effort can achieve significant change. That could be uniting, connecting, and engaging. As a practicing family doctor, I am more in the human side of primary health care, thinking and working for people-centered care. Other people's health is also linked to my populations, my family, and my health, as you know. Health is affected by many other things, like planetary health, environment, like many other factors. As a health leader, I feel I am also listening and contributing to other components of the primary health care and primary health care team. It is true that countries differ in their healthcare systems, but three main components: the family physicians associations, academic departments, and governmental support are essential for a success and a stability, besides sustainability for family medicine practice and for a successful primary health care. The principle of think globally, act locally is indeed applicable to this context, allowing for global change through local actions. That is why regions and their already existing tools and their deep experiences are important to be shared under the WONCA umbrella for all of us. I know my colleagues in previous executive board of WONCA, they have global products, but they could not introduce to other regions. This is one of the important issues that I have to deal with. I really want to develop a feedback loop and a transparent organization, partnering with others by interprofessional and intersectoral collaboration. Financial aspects are to be revised, and new resources shall be searched during the next 2 years with those respected and experienced presidents and past presidents, and of course the CEO. I have to tell you that any transparent team may bring financial resources as we did even in pandemics. We took the lead with a negative balance and now it is doing good, and same for all other organizations we have been leading together, if you remember Shlomo and Thomas. All were because of our teamwork. I believe with the current, incoming, and past presidents, we can work on this together. WONCA office is now in Europe, in Belgium. Due to the location, a few hours from here, I am able to support Karen, incoming president living in Australia, a good friend, and also the CEO with whom I have worked in previous executive boards and councils of WONCA and EGPRN as a young doctor. Those are the words that I can tell you right now, Shlomo.
Thank you, Professor Ungan. So we have a very diverse and large audience. I see from the Q&As that there are participants from Romania, from Tbilisi, Georgia, and I will start to collect questions from the audience. And the first question is from Najwa Nashat. And she asked the question, this question. Where do you see WONCA after 4 years from now? What will be the focus of your plan?
I really hope, I think this is very important. Uniting, connecting, and engaging the family doctors is not a new theme or not a new thing, because past presidents already put some kind of bricks on the wall one by one, and I will put a few bricks more in the next 2 or 4 years. So this is how it works in the organizations. So I think we have to build the walls together. But on the other hand, we have to be very careful about the walls to be firm before us. So I will tell you that I really hope, and I am very hopeful, and I want you to be hopeful also, that those financial issues will be solved. There will be more transparency. There will be a real democracy, and there will be products of WONCA in general. So I really find it very, very bright for the future of the WONCA. I know that we have difficulties in WONCA for financial issues right now, which is normal. It will be from time to time, but there are solutions. If we are a good team and if we are transparent enough, it will be clearly the funds will be coming towards us. Where we experienced in WONCA Europe the same thing. Now the presidency of the Shlomo, and next term, Thomas, we will leave the same.
Thank you, Mehmet, and I'm opening the stage for other questions. And for the meanwhile, until we have another question. So, and your question, please put them under the Q&A and not under the chat, because it's difficult to me to navigate between the two screens. So any question that you have, please put it in the Q&A section. So for the meanwhile, Mehmet, I know that one of the most important things of being as WONCA World Executive Board and President-elect, later on the President, is the involvement in the WHO. And can you give us or tell the audience about your experience with WHO project that you've been involved in our region?
Yeah. Thank you, Shlomo. This is very important. What I would like to tell you is, since many years, I think 34 years ago, I have been in the WHO expert meeting in this region, and we have, as Turkish association, hosted, when we were junior association, hosted the WHO Europe as an expert meeting in general practice and primary care in Istanbul. And think about it. I have those documents and minutes of it and the agenda of it. To my opinion, not many changed since that time. We are talking about a better primary health care and the targets, the goals that we should achieve as a world. But as I see, we cannot still catch that. What happened? In the meantime, 30 years, when we were developing our organization, when we were developing our careers, when we were developing our specialties in our countries, Of course, the WHO has been working in the way that we are working, and they are producing many documents. Among those documents, as you know, we together worked with you, Shlomo, also, and Thomas also. So what we have done is we have supported, instead of talking and attending to the meetings and just talking about it and vaporizing ideas and such kind of things, we have been contributed in documents like the guidelines or like the manuals of brief interventions for the non-communicable diseases for those countries who would like to develop themselves in that direction. So I believe we have, not me only, but WONCA Europe and the academic part of the WONCA Europe contributed a lot to the WHO documents, as far as I remember. And also I can tell you that it's not new that we have been doing it. Before us, the current president, Anastasda, already started the WHO relations, and she has opened the way for the other people, the departments, to contribute in the WHO documents. Those are the things which I can tell you right now. But I know, for example, we had very good contribution on the therapeutic patient education document, which I heard the first time in WHO meetings. Then I realized that it is a bit different than the patient empowerment, but on the other hand, it is containing the issues with that. So you just think about it, our really discussions in 2015 about patient empowerment turned to something else, but we have an experience as a WONCA region. Then we have put the experiences of the region to the documents very well and very effectively. So those are the experiences which I remember for now, and other than the European Medicines Agency with the collaboration and the memorandum of understanding with the European Medicines Agency, UEMO, and EFPC and WONCA. So those are the collaborations which I would very much like to continue in world level, because I think collaboration is something that we should be really emphasizing in each and every opportunity.
Thank you, Mehmet. So I would also like to know, you just mentioned in a few words between your words and for my last question about other bodies in Europe that we had, you had communication and relationship. So maybe tell us, and I'm not sure that all the audience is familiar with such acronyms as UEMO or EMEA. So just let's take only those two bodies, explain to the audience who are they and what was your personal in WONCA Europe involvement in those projects or with those organizations, because I think it can be something that can be duplicated in the world level.
Exactly. The European Medicine Agency is the equivalent of the FDA of the United States, just affecting the world, and they are together working together, and of course they are developing the guides and the discussions and in a very official format. And I think what we have contributed until now is just about the shortage of the medicines and the vaccines. If you remember, in a few years, if you go back, then we had some shortage of medicines and also shortage of the vaccines. So those were the discussions with the expert groups and with the country representatives, but also WONCA was there in the decisions, representing part of the primary healthcare team with other organizations like UML. And for example, we had very good collaborations with the UMO partners who were representing the general practice in Europe in a more, of course, they are academicians also, but more occupational rights and also the rights of the general practitioners and also equivalent of the UMs for the European Union. They were trying a lot. And what we are having a kind of contribution to them is we are World Organization of National Colleges and Academies. So that means that we have a power also to support their work, and then they have a power to support our work. And I can tell you that in the world level, in our plans, future plans, we really have contacts to go forward with the FDA also.
Thank you, Mehmet. And now, we are starting now, this was only just to warm the engines. And now comes the interesting questions. So be prepared. So the first question is about changing the environment that family physicians should work, like introducing AI, other technologies like ultrasound. What do you think about what is the place of AI, for example, in family medicine, and for your opinion, and on the international and world level?
That is in my plans. Maybe if you have visited my webpage, maybe that question is coming from there also. What I believe is it is impossible to avoid for AI. I mean, there are a lot of discussions right now. So nobody, especially those people like us, non-native digitals, let's say, in our ages, we can be a little bit careful about those applications and the AI tools, actually. But on the other hand, until now, what I believe is we have to work. It is unavoidable. So that means we have to work. What are the limits and what are the contributions and what we would like it to be acting for us in our primary healthcare services. So this is a plan, and I can't do it alone. You cannot do it alone. Nobody will be able to do that alone, but we have to be really partnering with the agencies who are carefully evaluating the limits of it. And we have to adapt it to the primary healthcare services and to the family medicine. But I see it promising to help us in our daily work until we let it to be helpful, but not getting all the decisions itself, which is not possible. To my opinion, which I have a team member and my team is not only with the physicians, with the family doctors, but we have an IT team and also a process manager. We have been discussing for many years on that, and we are also using some part of the AI also in our work. What he is telling me is very convincing. He is saying that very specialist works will be in danger, but for those generalists, it will be okay because you will decide where to use and how to use. It is impossible to get in place of a general practitioner or family doctor an AI totally. But to be honest, just very shortly, it is in the next 2 years, we have to define it. Otherwise, we will be late.
So you mean we have also in this area also to be leaders and not to stay behind?
Exactly. We have to work.
Okay, so and I see the time is running, so only one other question. Again, I would say a challenging question. And the question, and I will just cite it. Do you think that WONCA should somehow help countries that have problems convincing politicians to really develop family medicine?
I deeply believe in that. I am on that part, and most of the visits I did to the other countries were only for that reason. And I know that the governmental decision, I told you, there are three legs. One of them is the association, the other one is the academy, and the third one is the decision of the government. Without their government decision, it is impossible to go forward for a while, at least. But for sure, it will be, the mind and the thinking way is same. At the end, the solution is the same for many countries. The strong primary healthcare will solve a lot. And the government sees it, but sometimes they are very careful about it because their campaigns and their popularity, they don't let the things go smoothly for the primary healthcare. In that case, we are really forcing our member organizations to use us because we have some evidences which we can talk with them. And also it is very nice to show that we have a WONCA, just listen to them, not only us, but the WONCA is saying in that way. This is very convincing. What we have used in my young years, we have used WONCA in this way. We have asked WONCA leaders to come to our country to talk with our Ministry of Health, to convince them to stop something, or to develop something. And they did. So this is what I have seen. So that I have trained in that way. So that is the reason it will be perfectly okay for me to develop support for the countries. Why we are here? This is the reason. Collaboration. It is important.
Sorry for my dog barking. It's part of every webinar that I'm moderating. So now she's quiet, so we can continue. So thank you, Mehmet, for the reply, and we are reaching the end of our meeting. I'm looking at the clock. So please give us a final message, a final word before the elections in Sydney.
I can tell you that by implementing those strategies in my plan and organizations and associations focused on family medicine, for supporting them, can create a vibrant and engaged community of family doctors who are motivated to collaborate, share knowledge, and contribute to the advancement of their professions. I don't want to be too formal, but I have a hope, I have an energy. I want you all to be energetic and hopeful, and I really believe that at the end of 4 years, it will be perfect. This is my message.
Thank you, Professor Ungan. Thank you all the audience. We had a lot of audience today, a lot of feedback in the chat and in the Q&A. And see you all in Sydney. Thank you and good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.